All right, Poker Savvy, welcome to the exciting conclusion of my video recap from the 2008 main event of the World Series of Poker. If you're just joining us, this is day 5 of the World Series, so you might want to go back to the beginning and watch the first 2 days. But I've had the people at Poker Savvy create some video hand histories based on some of the most interesting hands that I played during a fairly deep run in the main event of the World Series of Poker this past summer. So I wasn't the one doing this myself, but they tell me that it's very tedious work creating all these hand history files just based off of my recollection of how these hands went down. So I hope that you'll appreciate what they put into this and also forgive some little things, like you'll see that I jump around in different parts of the screen and stack sizes sometimes won't make perfect sense. But all the necessary action is here to understand what happened, and I'm going to explain how these hands went down. So hopefully you'll find it interesting and helpful to follow along through some of the most interesting hands that I played during the biggest tournament of the year. Let me tell you a little bit about this table first, and this will show up on the people's names later. But this person here on my right is a player named Alex Kostritsin, and he actually had a much bigger stack than this. Alex Kostritsin, who some of you might have heard that name before. He's a Russian player, young, very, very good, very aggressive, 21 years old, and I believe he won the Aussie Millions either in 2008 or in 2007. He had already final tabled another main event, another tournament in the World Series of Poker. A very good player, and I was just fortunate to have him on my right. Here on my left, I think there was someone else there initially, but he was eliminated pretty quickly, and for most of the day, I had Adam Levy, who you might know as Ruthless from online, on my immediate left, and then I think a couple more seats over here, like in this seat was George Bex, G-Bex online, for those of you who might know him. So it was a pretty tough table, and you'll see a couple of other good players ended up at the table at some point as well. Let's go ahead and get started. On this first hand here, I'd actually been playing pretty tight. I'd folded for a couple of orbits before this came around. It was a tough spot for me to be in at the table. I didn't have a huge stack. I had a little less than 50 times the big blind, actually. I think this might be a little bit off. So I was not in bad shape, but I certainly wasn't one of the biggest stacks at the table. I had this very aggressive Alex on my right who was opening a bunch of pots in front of me, and then on my left I had Ruthless and G-Bex over here, who were both, they're good tournament players. They were on kind of short stacks, and I knew they were going to be looking for opportunities to to shove all in over the top of a raise for me or something. So I was really forced to just hunker down and not play that many hands.